Hello, hello, hello everyone. How are we doing? Can you hear me, first and foremost? How's everyone? Hope you've had a good weekend. This is exciting. This is very exciting, actually. And I have to say thank you to Ola, who's provided the map. I think it's at a stage where he'd like to do a little bit of testing on it. So he's very kindly joined us. We'll jump in. He's going to chat to us for a little bit in a while as well and tell us a bit more about the map, which is kind of exciting. So I'm looking forward to having a chat with him. And also we've got Jan R and Christoph, who are stalwarts of the multiplayer servers on FS on the old FSG Discord. So welcome to you boys as well. We may get a few more people joining as the evening goes on, but good to get a few people on, and I think give it a good test. So thank you all. I must say this now before we start, for all the very nice birthday messages. That is very generous of you, son of Ragnar. Thank you very much, old man. You're right. I feel old as well. So, but thank you all very much for coming along and saying hello, and I appreciate it. So, now, if you remember in FS19, Ola was developing Rennebu, and he hadn't finished it because he's a perfectionist, and you'll see that when you go around the map. Because he's a perfectionist, he was still working on a lot of development. So it's moved over to 22. I think he's made a lot of progress since 22 arrived. And we'll see it as we go around. And I think just the changes, it's probably as good an example of any of the changes that FS22 has brought us that allows us to do more with maps and things like that. So we'll do a little bit of a tour of the map. I think the guys are just going to jump into some farming, get some appropriate equipment, and have a play. Jan, thank you very much, sir. You are very kind. William, very kind of you as well. Thank you very much for the birthday messages. The dog is going mad in the background, digging holes in the couch, but we'll leave it to it. So, I have not played the Lucky Pit. Do you know what? I've got my new webcam on, so I thought it's a lot better at picking up low light. So, I thought we'd see what it was like with the lights off. It's like a after dark stream. So, thank you so much for the super chats, guys. You don't need to do that, honestly, but it is very much appreciated. So, what we're going to do is quickly say hello to Ola, if he's there. Ola, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. First of all, thank you so much for letting us have an early preview. I have to say, it looks phenomenal. So I appreciate you jumping on and hanging out with us and telling us all. You can basically give us the story in the background to this brilliant map and how it's got to where it is.
Sure. Well, I'm privileged that you want to have a trip here on your birthday, and in general, it's an honor. Well, do you want the background story right now, or should we?
Well, I tell you what, we'll get started. We'll get some machinery going. I'm gonna do a little bit of a tour of the map. I'm gonna drive around a bit and show people just how great this is. Yeah, we'll dive in a little bit. I've got a few questions lined up for you as well. So I'll pepper those into the conversation as we go through the next couple of hours. But definitely worth hearing a little bit from you on this.
Yeah, just let me know when you want my little snippets.
Awesome, that's brilliant, Ola. Thank you. Right, we have bought some land. So let me jump into the PDA so I can show you. How many times? Here's a question. How many times do people log into their pull up the menu now and it's on the keybinds menu? That's seems to be where I spend my entire life at the moment. So here is, if you hadn't seen it before, this is Rennebu. Now Rennebu is actually where Ola comes from in Norway. So it's obviously a project very close to his heart, and actually started out as I think just a private map that he'd made to play with his friends. But as time's gone on, he's developed it further. I mean, this is even the PDA is probably the nicest PDA I've ever seen. The detail in the hills and the mountains there, just that satellite image is phenomenal. So the map actually takes up this square in the middle here. It's a 16x map, so it's a huge map. But obviously, lots of the area around it isn't usable or playable. So actually, all the fields in the river basin at the bottom make up the map, but the distances you'll travel on the roads are long, and there's some brilliant roads up into the hills as well where you can go forestry hunting. But as maps go, it's I don't think we've seen anything as I think different as this. This is very, very nice. I don't think we've got anything else like this. So that's what I like about it. That's what makes it unique, but also the quality and the detail that's gone into it is something else as well. It's probably designed for small and medium equipment, as you can probably tell by the size of some of these fields. I mean, there's field 80 there. Very tiny field. Obviously, it's part of a little block there. But all of these fields are relatively sensibly sized. A little bit bigger as you go down to the bottom of the map here, but up at the top here, lots and lots of little fields, basically, because that's what farming in Norway is all about. Because of the landscape, there's not much space. So what we'll do, I'm going to buy. I should have put a nice European style truck in as well, but I didn't. So what we'll do, we'll go in the old one, the 86 pickup. Look again, also Norwegian nice license plates as well. So no detail missed with this. So let us buy that, and we are going to go for a spin. 1 second, the spammers have arrived already. Okay, back to the job in hand. So, oh, crikey. Somebody bought a combine while I wasn't looking. So let's jump in. What we'll do, let's pull up the mini-map here as well. We are going to hang, I think what we'll do just a huge loop. We'll drive right out of here, all the way up to the top. And we'll just stop and have a look at stuff on the way. Oh. Having a little bit of a server lag there. Bouncing a bit. Kick in a minute. Oh, Doug Roberts. Best people are born in May, right? Okay, this is interesting. Hang on a second. Let me just... I am having a few connection issues today, so we'll push on though. If it becomes a pain, I think the map's actually still loading in places as well. So we'll just keep going for a bit. If it's too rickety on the roads, we'll maybe move to flyby or bouncing around and stuff like that. Map's still definitely loading in here, and my driving's not any better. So let's run to here just for a second. So everything, even signposts, things like that, are phenomenal. Seem to be okay out of the truck. I wonder if it's a truck. The contours of the land as well. One of the things we must go and see is down by the... See, out of the truck everything's smooth as, so that is odd. That's the beer, not the truck. Thanks, Peter. But look at this. Look at the amount of trees. This is a taxing map on on your computer. You do need to have a rather punchy computer to run this at decent frame rates because of the detail in it. You obviously can drop the detail down, but I am one for running my maps with high detail. If you've been keeping tabs on Ola's YouTube page as well, he posted a little video of the demo of this river the other. I don't think I've seen a river as nice as this. Look at the flow of that river. Absolutely brilliant. Trey, I agree, yeah, it could be. There's loads of 4x4 tracks up in the hills for the logging, but look at that. That is a tremendous concept, and even the bridge here. So all of the models on here are modelled to size, because Ola also said that you know, all the standard size buildings, even the kind of UK and American ones, are all far too big. So he's had to manually build all of the building. I think there's a lot more buildings to come as well. They come as a separate pack alongside the map. And one of the things he's also managed to do is get the map size down really, really low. We're like 400 meg for a 16x map is ludicrous. So again, look at these. The detail in some of these buildings is lovely. Just these little, you know, traditional Norwegian buildings looking really, really good. Little animal pen here. Now, I don't know. I know there's some doors still to be animated and things like that, but some really nice details. And then just the mountains in the background, the cliffs and stuff. How big are the fields? They're not very big. JR, they are not very big, because this is obviously a real place as well, so I mean, you could always plough a few together. Right, let's try this truck again. If this is still jumping around like nobody's business, we might go and buy something else. Like I said, my internet connection's been a little bit... Well, I don't seem to be having any issues with my stream, so this is just annoying. I'm going to park this. Say park it, I'm just going to abandon it in a hedge. See what else we can go and get. Let's see what else we've got up here. Try the little Mahindra. How fast does that go? 60 miles an hour. Okay, that might work. Give that a bash. Although that said, looking at the tractors, they seem to be shuffling about a bit as well. Well, this is handy, isn't it? Typical. Typical we get a laggy server. It was working a treat before, so a little bit annoying. Okay. I do not know what's happening here. Anybody got any ideas as to why this is as laggy as it is? Strangely working fine when you're out of the truck. So what we'll do for now, we'll jump into flight mode and we'll fly. I'll probably put a little bit of speed on as well if I can. There we go. It's too much. I want to be able to see the map. So, let's fly back down here. So we're going to head down this side of the map. So that's where we are. That's where we dumped the truck. And as you can see, fields on either side of the river. My Wi-Fi, I'm Ethernet connected as well, which is annoying. The server is UK based, so again, not ideal, but there we go. We'll roll around with these problems. We'll deal with it. Look at the, look at the road. Look at the detail on the road, the lamps, and so we are now. We have headed literally from here to here, so you start to get an idea for how big the map is. So we're going to head along here. There is another couple of farms here. There's one there. Again, relatively small. One small shed in there. And we'll head over here. There's a bigger one here, still being worked on. So some of the doors and things don't work, but we've got a pasture here. Out to the front. Got a cow barn here. As you can see, the slurry point over there. Another animal pen here, which is sheep. But there's lovely little details like this, like the storage inside here up the ramp. Look at that. Nice tip point in there as well. So you reverse in, unload in there. Very nice. Very nice in there. Real Viking, it is a 16x map, yes. Yes, it is. But again, lovely buildings in keeping with the area. In fact, they are... Ola builds a lot of these based on photos and drone footage that he's got of the area that he's taken, so you're actually as realistic as the place. So let's head along the river a bit more. To another point here. Just trying to work out what this is. The stuff that's still being developed. So yes. There's a cow barn, another cow barn here. So there's your slurry unload point there as well. But let's maybe run up into one of these... I don't have one here, but we'll actually head up into some of these logging roads in a little while. Buildings have colour options too. Peter Heap, welcome to the channel, sir. Am I still rubber banding? Just a little bit when I'm driving, so worst case scenario, we'll log out and log back in at some point, but at the moment, while we're just having a little look around, we can... it seems to be running smoothly without vehicles. So let's just pop this up here. So again, there's all these lovely little roads that run into... slightly raised field, so that's actually a decent sized field. That gives you a good example of a slightly bigger field. Again, not massive though. I genuinely think this is medium sized machinery at best. There you go. AJ Max caught a couple of Twitch streams Ola did. The guy's got real passion for detail. He sure does. He's a extreme professional at what he does. So yeah, you definitely get that when you see his stuff. Yeah, the minimap's on another level, it really is. Let's have a look at that again, it's worth pulling up. So here, look at that, my ping is 26, 27 milliseconds, so how am I rubber banding in vehicles? I don't know. Yes, I have put the links to Ola's Twitch and YouTube in the description as well, so by all means go and follow him, because he does post updates quite regularly, so you can see how the map's progressing. Iceberg, I think you're right, yes. I think you're right. Again, look at this stuff up here. I remember doing the cinematics for this first time round and thinking it was brilliant then. I mean, look at even the movement of the white water through the... So good. So yeah, the cinematics when you're shooting this stuff for actual video tours, it's gold dust for something like us. So there we go, all the way up there. Look, the rivers go all the way up here. You can run all the way up. So even though we're way off map here in terms of usable stuff, you can go and explore right up here. Look right down into the valley. So tremendous effort and detail going into this. So there you go. Now there's a couple of questions coming in actually for Ola directly. So I am going to just have a chat with him now and see if he'd like to answer them himself. Ola.
Hey.
How you doing? So Trey's just asked me, how much of the map do you think is actually farm fields? 50% or even less than that?
Oh, I think it's far less than 50%. The playable area is probably closer to 50%, but the actual fields are far less.
Sure. And but you think you're counting the logging areas, and there's probably a lot of logging space in there as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
You can actually see it if you open the buy farmlands menu. You can see the outlines of all the different areas you can buy.
Oh yeah, so you can see all the logging areas there, all of these big logging areas.
So to put it into perspective, the ones close to field 127 in the far south, if you buy 2 of those combined, that's about the size of the default maps. If that gives you a perspective.
So say that again, 127.
Yeah.
So this
fields,
corner here.
Sorry, the farmlands down in the south there. If you buy the 2, or don't buy them, but select them. In the middle south, they are combined the size of Elms Creek, or the default maps.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that puts it into perspective, doesn't it? So 127, 128. You think those 2?
Oh yeah. No. I mean the forestry areas.
The
far
forestry
south,
areas
below that.
So these 2.
Yeah.
They're about the size of Elm Creek.
Yeah, for instance, those are about the same. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So there you go. That gives you an idea of just how big this map is. That's phenomenal. Even now, look, I've travelled from the shop here round this corner and up, and we're only here. We are coming up towards the top of the map, but I mean, so much of the map still to explore. So, Ola, just at this point, go and tell us a little bit of the backstory to it. Let's hear how it came about, and how you taught yourself to map. Because obviously, I think you've got some specialist skills in this area, but how it's turned into a small map for you and your friends to play on to this what it is today.
Yeah, well, I was playing Farming Sim 19. I think we were playing on Ravenport, the default one in 19. And one of the guys asked me, do you think it's a lot of work to sort of add our own farmhouse, our real farmhouse? And I was just thinking, how hard can that be? Never done it. So I spent a couple of hours while they were playing, and I made my own farmhouse. And I said, guys, we need to restart the server. And there it was, the house. And they were thrilled. And then I started to make their houses. And it didn't stop there. So I had this wild idea without any knowledge. Do you think it would be fun to play in Rennebu on our own farms? And they were thrilled. They were ecstatic. Like, they really wanted to see that. So I started to dig around and found the editor, found a couple of tutorials. But I had a hard time learning it at first. It was so different from what I've usually been doing in 3D and other game engines. Yeah. So it's taken me 3 years, more or less, and I'm constantly learning. There's constantly new things I want to do, which I have no clue how to do. So I take it one step at a time.
So the flows in the river maybe being something like that?
Exactly. That's actually something I I tested last year about this time. I made a couple of videos and shared on Discord. Do you think this looks good? How does it look? Do you think we can blend this with the water shader, etc.? But yeah, I guess someone at Giants caught on to that, and here we are. Now we have a proper flow map in the engine.
And that wasn't a thing in 19, no?
That was not a thing. The closest you could do was the same shader that is used for belts or conveyors. So you have a texture that sort of moves along the geometry, but it would be fake. So you had to UV map real carefully, so the image would sort of make a turn, but it would be really, really coarse. So it's almost like the multi-angle terrain.
Oh, so you're limited by the angles you have available to you.
Yes, the geometry in the water mesh was the limiting factor, and it didn't really look good in the bends, at least not the really hard bends. But for straight, it looked really good. But I'm really glad flow maps is it's a thing now, default.
So that, I suppose that pushes me on to the next question about what the capabilities in 22 versus 19, because I think when it first came out and it was launched, people without the background or maybe the expertise you have were very critical. It just looks like FS19 and they haven't done anything different. But actually, I think the engine underneath has been really overhauled, hasn't it? There's so much more you can do with it now.
Oh yeah. I remember when Giants finally opened up to the community. I think they were very open with us as modders as well.
Yeah.
By sharing this new tech they have put into the game, even before FarmCon. I think that was unveiled before FarmCon. So we got a few more snippets of info during FarmCon. And one of those things were parallax occlusion. That was also a thing in 19, but it was sort of a hidden gem. It worked only on the building shader. And parallax occlusion is what makes the soil look more 3D, if that makes sense. And also, if you go close up to a building, you can see you can see the individual planks sort of have depth. Yeah, you can see that on a church, for instance. And the doors, a good example is the door where you have this arc over the double doors. So yeah, and the roof as well, like the slates. So that is not just a normal map. That is sort of height information that I don't know how to explain it, but it makes it look more deep, extruded, sort of. Yeah. In reality, that mesh is just a flat plane.
It's so clever.
So that's clever. Sort of the tech I really endorsed. Other things is like the occlusion stuff, where you are when you go inside a building, the terrain and all other buildings and crops and whatnot does not have to be rendered because the engine doesn't see it.
Yep.
So that's also something that's really helpful, especially in the forests where you have literally hundreds of thousands of trees. And yeah, when you have hundreds of thousands of trees, occlude the terrain behind, it doesn't need to be rendered, and you gain performance. Yeah. Performance in the forests were unheard of in 19, at least from my perspective.
And I remember one of your big challenges in 19, because we talked about it a long time ago, was how many trees you were kind of limited to because it killed the performance so much.
Yeah, I think I knocked that one over. Currently, to date, there's close to 195k trees on the entire map.
Wow.
Most of them can be harvested. So if you are an agile harvester, you can harvest it all, sell it at the sawmill or process it, bring it to the carpenter, and sell furniture if you like.
And I guess that's huge where you live as well, isn't it? I'm guessing forestry is as big as arable farming.
Yeah, I have this notion that many who do wheat and other grains also do forestry, while those who do cows and sheep, etc., may not necessarily do that because they're all tied up.
Yeah,
their time is limited.
Yeah, for sure. So, so when you made the switch between creating a map for your friends and going, well, actually, this is a project that I might share with the whole community, what was the thought process behind that?
I saw that my friends didn't necessarily play FarmSim that much anymore, and I when I asked about how do I do this to learn, I noticed that a few people caught on and was like, "Whoa, this map looks really nice. How big is it? What are you doing? Wow, those buildings are unique. What are you going to make placeables for them all?" And then I thought, yeah, why not just share it? Because I'm not gonna do this for my 2-3 friends who may not be playing FarmSim in 6 months. Little did I know.
And do you think your longevity with FarmSim has been extended because of your commitment to this map?
Absolutely.
If you were just a player, you maybe would have stopped by now, but the maps kept you interested for longer.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And I think because I started the map, I've been around FarmSim ever since. Both for the tech part, like it's really fun to learn new stuff, new skills, but also the art stuff, where you get to create stuff, put it in the editor and the game, and see it, use it, give it function. So it's sort of a hobby gone wild, if you like. It's almost like a lifestyle right now. Because
I can relate to that.
the time I got for mapping is really limited. So I usually wait until my kids are in bed and my wife is also asleep. So that limits me to about midnight to 2 a.m. maybe.
Yeah, wow.
It is pushing it, but that's what I got.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it kind of swallows you a bit, doesn't it? And I know from starting the channel, coming up for 2 years ago, that the amount of time I've ploughed into it is quite scary. But as long as you're enjoying it, right? That's the key.
Absolutely, it's also sort of necessary self-maintaining, like to unwind after a long day of work, or you have kids, you know how it can be.
For sure.
So
It's
it's sort of just let the steam go and just relax and enjoy the process.
Exactly. Yeah, immerse yourself in something. There's lots of areas on the map as well that we're still seeing are empty, and I know you've done a whole heap of buildings already, and I know you've got a lot more to do. My question is, when do you stop? Where do you draw the line? Because I know you're a perfectionist. So, have you set yourself a target, or is that putting too much pressure on you?
No, this is pretty much loose. I don't have a target right now. My main goal right now is to get the map to a playable state with as few errors as possible, at least visually, because I don't think there's any gameplay features I need to add to the map itself. Right now, it's just finishing touches. Like if there's a mistake with landscape close to the river, or missing bushes, trees, whatnot, I'll try to fix that ASAP, so the map doesn't have to be updated at a later stage. What I do want to focus on later on is the buildings, because they can be added at any time as a placeable.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, if the placeable isn't placed in the map when you start a new save game, that isn't easily added later. So I need to make some placeholders that don't look like crap and And eventually you'll see that these construction sites or something like an empty slot, but there's going to be buildings there later on. They will be populated. That's my goal. So all you should be updating is the buildings pack, and that's sort of like a kit bash thing where my idea is that these buildings can be used for other maps I create in the future as well, and other modders or mappers can use the buildings. So if they use it in the same way I do, they shouldn't have to do anything but make the buildings pack required.
Okay.
So if you play on Comsden or Riverview or whatever, but you enable that buildings pack, you can see that evolve as I update the pack as well. So all the placeables I make will be available through the construction menu.
That's actually a stroke of genius. I'm not sure anybody else has done it like that, have they? So that's a entirely different way of looking at how you manage buildings on the map, which is really clever.
Yeah, for me it's sort of a convenient thing because I know I won't be able to complete all the map or buildings right now, so I'd like to add more of those Rennebu specific buildings later on anyway, so why not just wrap it up in one big pack, which can then be reused in tenfold Norwegian maps in the future.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And does the same apply to productions as well? So you could put production buildings in there?
Absolutely. The grain mill you see there in the distance is actually placeable in that pack, so it can be used in other maps as well, just like you see it. And that's kind of unique. So the slope leading into the mill is hard built into that placeable though, and all those big bags are also placed on that placeable, and they
so this here, the rocks and the path up to it is part of the building rather than part of the map.
And the reason is there's a basement. That's where the flower will spawn. And all these seeds and all that on the slope is sell point or buy points, so you can refill your stuff there, like your a trailer or a seeder or what have you.
Okay, brilliant.
It's not marked, but it's a sort of a hidden gem without breaking the immersion.
I like it, and I remember this. I do remember you unloading flour from in here on a Twitch stream once. So yes, I do like it. Just the fact that it's you've done something different as well. It just doesn't spawn in a square on a gravel yard that you actually have to drive in, and it's actually in a storage place, which is great.
Yeah, I'm still debating whether that will be a stroke of genius or annoying. but I think you don't have to use the forklift. I made the entrance big enough for even the very small tractors with a front loader.
Yeah.
So you're free to do whatever.
And I'm guessing you could, with an auto load trailer, you could probably reverse in and get them as well that way, couldn't you?
I've not tried that. I doubt it, to be honest. but at least if you have the means of buying the flour mill, I think you should also be able to bring stuff out, and then you can auto load as much as you want from the outside.
Yeah.
But I'm listening to the audience though, so this being a placeable, I can change that at any time. So in a future update, or if you want to mod it, you just move the transform group, which is telling the game where to put stuff.
Yeah, true, brilliant. And I see the gravel point over here. Have you thought about Terraform and implementing that? Because
when Terraform was announced, I was really keen to try that. And this is an actual spot. This is where they crush rocks in real life as well. I wish I had that kind of equipment in the map by default, but I don't have the means to model that.
Sure.
FS Miner has a lot of mods that would be perfect for this. And Terraform works really good with Rennebu. You just enable the mod and that's it.
Okay, brilliant. Because I know I've certainly tried with some larger maps. Do you have to set something to make Terraform work within the map, or did it work by default? Because sometimes they say due to the size of the map, it doesn't work as intended. So
yeah, I mean the terrain is really coarse because of the size. So you can
see it at the
sort
edge
of say the default maps are a little stamp in size, and it's got the resolution of that. Yeah. But if you stretch that out to a big poster, you're not gaining resolution, but you're sort of gaining more real estate.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So there are issues, like you can see here with the grass on the side here, and when you find some gravel or dust roads, you see it's sort of jagged.
Yeah, you get the hatching at the edge.
That's the real limitation I'm working with here. So you gotta give and take a little bit.
Sure, and that's just the limitations of the engine, I guess, in terms of you can't up the resolution of the map, or you can't maintain the resolution of the map if you go up in size, right?
Well, you technically you can, but you will lose a lot of performance.
Okay, so it's that trade-off, that balance between the two.
Correct. So I think people will be more happy with a few jagged edges than having stuttering and lagging all the way through. That wouldn't make for a good incentive to play.
No, I agree. And I think you forget about it very quickly. You don't really notice it, if I'm being honest, once you're immersed in the map. So here's a question. The DEM that you used, was it difficult to acquire the data, or was it readily available? And how long did that take to pull together? Because it's
we have this.
Look at that.
The DEM is available free to the public for non-commercial things. So I downloaded way too much data because they have flown across the entire country with a LiDAR scanner, like a laser scanner. So every nook and cranny, at least in Rennebu, is scanned down to 25 centimeters per pixel resolution.
Wow.
That is that's unheard of.
Yeah.
So right now we are down to, I think is it 2 or 4 meters per pixel? So there's a lot of data that is lost, sadly. So if I could up or just double the resolution of the DM, that would gain so much detail.
That's amazing.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, like you say, you've got your boundaries, you've got your limits that you have to work with, right? That's always that trade-off between performance and resolution and quality, right?
Correct. So I guess that is just game dev 101. You need to know where the limits are and work around it and make the best out of it. I think that goes for modding as well, because we're not making the game. We are working within the boundaries Giants has set for us, and we just need to adhere to that.
Sure. So I also noticed this week that Rennebu was on the test list, but obviously it's something that you're working with Giants on, not necessarily at the moment to consider for release, but just to understand how a map of this size can work within the game, right?
As far as I understand, this map is kind of unique in many ways. The size of the map itself is a lot larger than what's been released on Mod Hub before, I think. But because of the tech behind FS22, it is possible to release it to the masses. And I think they are kind of excited about the map as well, which is flattering and makes me really happy. And I think they really want to see this map launch successfully as well. So there's, we have talked a little bit and shared the map and the buildings pack, and they want to test it, and I get sort of a head start on what to fix before it's too late, sort of.
For sure.
This is not a promise, but I hope I can launch the map on ModHub before I go on vacation. So I can have some quality time with my family without being too stressed about, oh, crap, I need to do this. I didn't finish that.
No,
yeah,
that's
so
fantastic.
that's sort of a goal I've set. Make it done before July so people can enjoy the summer vacation playing the map and I can relax a little and yeah.
Nice. That's great. And I think that Giants, you're pushing Giants with a project like this, but they're also enthusiastic and keen to see. I mean, I think it's a good advert for them that they can do more with the maps and expand the maps beyond what we get in the base game, which is great. So that's amazing to hear that they're so enthusiastic about this, because it's really hard to not be impressed with this map, I have to say. Everybody that sees it just seems to be blown away with it. So you've done a brilliant job. You've done a really good job.
Thank you. I really appreciate hearing that, because you as an artist, or in the industry you are in, you also know that when you work on something for so long, you get both blind and deaf. You sort of lose track of what's going on. Even though you should be proud, there are moments I'm questioning where do I draw the line, or how I done enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to have a thick skin as well, because I think people sometimes don't appreciate that, and can maybe be a little bit quick to comment and have an opinion, but deep down that the effort and the time that's gone into this, and the understanding and the knowledge that you need, even the amount of different pieces of software that you must need to know to be able to pull this together is crazy. So even the fact that you've done all of that and created something as good as this is really, really, really impressive. So how does this? Did you have to learn? You obviously, for your background, is animation and 3D. Were you a Blender user already, or did you have to teach yourself that as well?
I've never touched Blender until I started mapping, because back in the day, as a teenager, I started using Lightwave, and I figured that isn't the way to go. So long story short, I come from a video production background, and when that went south, I thought, let's make the 3D hobby into my daily income. So I went back to school, learned Maya, and during that year, I learned about Modo. So Modo is the tool I use for 3D modeling. It's sort of the perfect blend between Maya and Lightwave, the good parts of both. And it's really fast to use, and I'm sure those who start with Blender today, well, they are in a gold mine, because Blender has evolved so much the past 15 years. Back then, Blender was sort of this ugly stepdaughter. That's a bad way to say it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like open source software always gets a bit of a kind of, like you say, a bad rep, doesn't it? Because people think it's not as good, but over time it tends to develop really quickly, doesn't it?
It is free, so it has to be bad. And that's a notion everyone has, but Blender has become really good. I can see that and appreciate that, but it's not the tool for me, because it's so backwards to me. It's upside down and inverted and whatever you have. So I use Blender only to import my files from Modo, convert it to i3D, and then bring it into the editor.
And does that cause? Is there issues there in terms of, or is it pretty much standard?
It's pretty much code? Plug and play.
Yeah.
So I don't do much to my models after I'm done in Modo. I just open it in Blender, apply a few shaders, and export to the editor. And from there, I just set up the functions, say a farmhouse should have, like all the collision triggers, and like if you stand here, the trigger appears. You can push a button, or you can open a door. You can fill a silo with whatever.
Nice. Brilliant. Well, Yeah, it's. I'm still staggered every time I look at it. It really is fantastic. So thank you for taking the time. Oh, that is brilliant. I'm going to leave you alone now so you can drive a tractor for a bit. I'm going to see if my rubber banding has stopped, and I will come and join you guys and do a bit of work as well. And thank you very much for your time, sir. Much appreciated. And if there's any more questions, I might call you back. I'll see what the chat's like, but we'll maybe chat to you again before the end.
Thanks. Feel free.
Right, let's go and see what's happening with our rubber banding. Can we drive a tractor or something? Do you think a baler could be the order of the day? No, I did see Christoph there with Ola. I wonder where Jan's gone. I think this is... I was playing around with my settings to try and get the quality up so that everybody could see everything on the map, but I think that might have actually caused me a little bit of an issue in terms of what was happening with the rubber banding, so I might set it down back to user settings now. Give ourselves... somewhere in the trees, I guess. Here he is with a cultivator. So I thought I saw some stuff in a field that we could bale, so let's do that. Let's turn off flight mode. And I want to say thank you. I did see a few of them coming in. But Argsy, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. You know you don't need to do that, but it's nice to have you here. Lots of you giving me nice birthday wishes as well, so thank you very much for that. Christian, hi FSG, is the map any chance from Norway? It's a dead giveaway, isn't it? Winter's on the map. Is there lots of snow? Right. Do you know what we could do here? Oh, no, I couldn't. That would really annoy the boys. In fact, I'm going to pull you straight in again, Ola. Snow on the map. Have you designed it so it's really heavy snow in the winter?
Yeah, it should be. I've not been able to test that thoroughly, but there should be more than enough snow. I've also designed it so that public roads are cleared by default. I know there's been a lot of requests that, oh, it would be fun to drive a tractor or a truck and clear the snow. But, I mean, how fun is it to clear so many miles of snow before you can even get to work? And then overnight it snows even more. So that's a design choice I took.
I was going to say, yeah, that the novelty would wear off very quickly.
So, yeah, public roads are cleared and the delivery and buy points are cleared. What is not cleared is your own farm. That's up to you.
Okay, so that's a nice touch. Very, very good. Right, do you know what I'm actually going to do? Is relog for a second. I'm just going to log in and log back out so that see if I can get rid of this rather questionable connection. See if that helps us. Sometimes that can happen. So give me 1 second while I do this. I'll come straight out of the game and go back in. I may switch the snow on towards the end of the stream so you could see the map covered in snow, just for a bit of fun as well. Yeah, it's a fair point, isn't it? On a 16x map, you don't want to be clearing all of the main roads. I mean, look, even the watercolors that he's done for the load screens are crazy good. So good. You have to make sure you're playing at least 3 days per month, then you get time for the snow to lay down on the ground on every map. That's true. Even the owner names, so that's a good, I'll show you. This is, I mean, when you talk about attention to detail, check this. Right, how am I doing for, in the contracts? Look, there's a certain Mr. Ola Holdor there. Milo, Berit, and Yorn. So he's even gone to the effort of creating proper Norwegian names. Right, let's see if this is better than it was before. No, it's not. I'm having a nightmare with this tonight, which is disappointing. And do you know what? I played this all afternoon. And we didn't have any of this, so very annoying. Kids must be on Netflix or something. But it won't slow us down. We'll get a baler. And we will not a wrapper. We don't want more of the wrapper, do we? Quadrants maybe a bit. This'll do. Nice little round baler. Are there planned to be more crops? And it was Rock Fosk. How many percent of Rennebu county has been made? Well, let me show you the mini map there, Foss, and you'll be able to see. He's even put a little explanation here. So there you go. Rennebu's a municipality of Trondlag. My pronunciation going horribly wrong here. So there you go. Out of the 947.9 kilometers squared, about 65 kilometers squared is playable within the map. There you go. Within the 65 kilometers, 23 kilometers can be bought, and 3.7 kilometers are fields. So there you go. It shows you how little the fields take up. 28 kilometers worth of roads, and that does not include all the forestry roads. Very interesting stuff. So let's see if this lag's going to kill us or not. Running better than it was before, but it's still not running great. Should have done a restart beforehand. Oh, look at that. Pogoing. That's not a very good hitch, is it? Can we head up a forest road? Let's do that. Let's leave him there for now. I'm interested to know if the I'm interested to know if Jan and the guys are having these issues, or it might just be me. Take it inside the cam. Let's try that. No, we're getting a bit of a stutter every. There you go. This is definitely I think it's a connection issue rather than. This is bigger than Spring Creek. No, it's Spring Creek's. Oh, hang on a sec. Spring Creek is 12 kilometers by 12 kilometers, so it's the same size as Spring Creek actually. Kick everyone out of my house, I know, right? Right, let's go and have a look at a little mountain road. Look, I mean, look at this one, goes all the way up here. Let's take that one actually. Let's teleport over to field 61. Let's use the joyous teleport. Oh, teleport doesn't work in. Oh, I thought I was logged in as an admin. Bear with me a second. I thought I'd logged in as an admin. It's because I restarted, isn't it? There you go. This is one of the best tools in Easy Dev 22. Is that. So let's jump into flight mode again. So let's just get our bearings. Yes, off this road here. So if we go to here, Got one that leads into a field here, or take the road round here. You can head right up, so you've got, you hit your firs and your more alpine trees. You've got, deciduous trees here. All of us having issue. Okay, that means it's Natrado playing up again. They've been annoying us. Let me I might actually jump out and restart the server. Let's see if that helps us. I love the Norwegian chat in here. It's brilliant. Nice to have you all in here. You must be pleased as well as to get a Norwegian map. It must be nice to have a map that's kind of close to your home. I think it's the same when I get a British map that, when we Calmsden, I think it's a brilliant map, and you can relate to it because it's British, so you kind of there's things in there that you can appreciate, and I'm sure you guys are the same with this. I always like it when people, any map actually, people come on and say, oh, I live just down the road from this area, and it feels exactly like that, or looks and behaves exactly like that, which is brilliant. So, I mean, look how long this road goes on for. And I don't even think we're, so you could have a brilliant, I always think there's a brilliant kind of auto drive logging, you could have a proper logging thing going on right up high in these hills. I mean, look at the snow on the mountains behind as well. So you could just, you're literally off the beaten track big time up here, and look, all this grassland and stuff, so it just keeps going. Just keeps going all the way. And you've still got trees. You've still got detail. Amazing. And we're still going. We are still going. So actually, the map's long gone. It's down there, look. It's just a figment of your imagination down there. We are way up on the high plains. Look, where you can even get into the snow. Fantastic. Lots for a good. There is a story in this. I absolutely think that there is. And you guys know my kind of map. My kind of maps are the ones that've got character and just character them that lets you come up with your own ideas and your own creations. So brilliant. The amount of trees has gone over the limit on the map. There's no question about that, is there? But you heard Ola there, he says he's going to try and get it finished by July so he can go on his holidays and enjoy some time off, so we may not be waiting hugely long. Yeah, build a house up there, exactly. He said would build a house up here and some signs saying keep out. Moose or elk up there, maybe that's the next thing. We can't give Ola any ideas because he will take them and he will try and implement them. Courseplay forest machine for this map, but then just to follow this river all the way. I mean, this river, you notice in a lot of maps when you change direction you sometimes lose the lighting on the rivers and stuff, but look at that, look at the reflection in that. I mean, how good is that? Show building colour options. Right, I will do that, Taz. Hot springs or saunas. There we go. Over there. I mean, look at that. Tremendous. Custom textures as well in here. Tweak some of the textures. I do know he's tweaked the trees as well. The flow maps are incredible. I've never seen anything like it. And they've got depth to them as well, so look at that. You know, we're seeing detail of the rock formations underneath there, which gives it depth as well. Phenomenal. A kayak mod for this map, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? It would be brilliant. Yeah, do a bit of whitewater rafting. But you just find yourself kind of just stopping and looking at the scenery, don't you? It is phenomenal. There we go, we've got some waterfalls now. Not silent either. And then we're back. Close to where we started. There we go. So yes, let's we've got a nice bit of ground here actually. Let's have a look at what we've got in the way of buildings. So there we go. Land is not owned by you. Fine, I'll buy it. There you go. There we go. Shed and change colour is... Have I found one with that colour change? Is it V?
Yeah, not all the buildings have that yet.
Oh, you have to help me out, Ola. Which ones?
Yeah.
Where's a good example?
In the farmhouses, there's a few.
Ah, right, farmhouse. Oh, yes. Only one allowed per farm. Typically, I pick one that you've already got. Oh.
You hit all the ones that don't have it.
There we go. There we go. Orange, white.
So my idea is that I will update those who don't have the color option yet with color options.
Nice. I like it. I like it. And I think I was chatting to Trailer Park Farms, who obviously does those huge American sheds, which are fantastic. I think his frustration with it is that you can only change one element, can't you? So you can only change the walls or the roof. You can't change both, or has that been updated now?
Yeah, that's true. I have requested Giants give us more options, so we'll see what happens.
But the colour you can select to be any colour you want, right? You just pick that from a palette, or are they default set of colours?
It's just like when you create colour for a vehicle, you can pick any colour. Yeah. I can make the house pink or neon yellow or something.
Yeah, so sure. So it's just an RGB code or a hex code, is it, I guess?
Yes, exactly.
Nice. Duke is saying it would be great if these were a placeable pack. They are a placeable pack, Duke. You maybe missed the chat earlier on, but every building on the map, Ola has built the buildings separately. So the map, you don't have to update the map every time that you want to add buildings to it, which is great. It's just easy to just end up just looking at the scenery, isn't it? It's fantastic. So how many more buildings do you think you've got to go? What's your baseline for, like, if I get another 20 buildings done, I'm happy with that? Or are you thinking you could go on for forever?
Given the time I've spent on a few single buildings, it can take maybe another couple of years.
Okay.
But right now, a guesstimate is about 110 buildings have not even been started.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot. But I have made about 50 unique buildings already. So a few of them are not completed, thus not in the game as you see it right now. They just need some tweaking or need to be just finished with a model, and then they're ready. The features are already being done on other placeables, such as a barn with cows or sheep, or farmhouses or sheds where you just open the doors. So it's just a matter of making the models ready.
Sure. And would you be comfortable, even if is your aim here to make it as authentic to Rennebu as possible, or would you be comfortable reusing assets?
Well, in some cases, I can reuse, at least as a starting point, such as the red building you have in front of you there.
Yeah.
That's a very common kind of architecture for not only Rennebu, but a big region of Norway. Both the barn, but also the farmhouse. So I can use that as a basis to modify a little bit, make it longer or shorter or taller. Sure. Or yeah.
Nice. Okay. I don't think we've gone. We haven't. We kind of stopped here, didn't we? Didn't we need to go south? What I like about it is.
I think if people are okay with it, a few parts of the map will be open for them to build. Like, it's not to say that I want to disappoint those who actually live there in real life and are maybe a family where the kids are waiting for the map just as much as you are. But it's something about that you can be free to build somewhere without having any clue of what it looks like in real life. So you are more free and not tied to anything.
Yeah, and there's something nice about that. I always think there's something nice about people, even if it is a real life place, and there are people who will play it with the authentic buildings, but other people will just love the map for what it is, and like you say, build their own little places on it. And if you've given them a selection of buildings to start from, I think it's a great place to be in.
I also have this idea that every building I make for any farm should be a placeable. That makes it easier for me as a map maker, but it also makes it more fun for you as a player, that you can mix and match farms that are miles or kilometers away from each other in real life, just because you like the architecture or the layout of this barn versus the one that is there in real life. You can knock it down and build whatever you want there instead.
Yeah. No, there's something great about that for sure. For sure, yeah. No, I think that flexibility is really important in the game for sure. How different the landscape changes from from the top of the map to the bottom. So we're in the south part of the map now, and just the bigger, wider, open fields and the broader basin makes it feel like a completely different map, which is a really nice touch as well. There we go. Fantastic. So many trees. Just so many trees. So we just head down here. All the way to the bottom of the map. Now, there is a junction at the bottom here which turns you around and sends you back up. Well, I hope you see that message in chat from on Jolt, is it? I'm terrible with names, but there you go. It feels like winning a lottery getting a good Norwegian map. I think you're going to make a lot of people very happy with this. Here we go again. Look, I just want to show you the signposts, even I think the road markings, everything is properly authentic. Look at the signs as well.
Google Street View has been quite handy for that.
Have you got ideas for what's next? Or have you not thought that far yet? You just want to get this one finished?
I have some ideas. They're not thoroughly thought through yet.
Yeah, you don't share them yet. You just have a load of people expecting stuff. So somebody's saying, where do you live? Where is your home on the map?
I don't know if I should disclose that because my parents actually live there.
Yes, let's not do that then. It's on the map somewhere. There we go.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you have permission for a rest after this is finished. Don't jump straight into something else. So there we go.
No, really, I went on vacation last year to a very nice place on the west coast of Norway. It's also a valley, a very narrow valley. What makes it unique is the glacier on top of the mountain there. It's literally pouring down with rich mineral water straight from the glacier through the farmlands. And there's, I think I counted maybe 5 farms, so it's far less to do. And it's so unique that you have these mountains that are about 1,800 meters tall.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, it's completely flat. And there's a very lush landscape for farms. And that's it. There's no sell points in real life. There's just farming. So I need to make up where to sell stuff. But it's a spectacular view to go there in real life. And that really inspired me. So, I mean, maybe that's where I'll go with the next map.
And maybe a 1X, slightly smaller?
Absolutely smaller, yeah.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
your first ever map was a 16X.
Yes, this is my first map indeed. And I didn't know what I started, what kind of journey this would be. But now I have all the building blocks. I have made all these buildings which can be reused.
Yeah.
And they have this unique Norwegian, Scandinavian look. So it doesn't matter for me personally if it doesn't look exactly like the same building that's over there on the west coast, because it looks Norwegian. And I only do this for the Rennebu map because it's my baby, my pet project.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, it's in keeping with the area, isn't it? So like you said, the building pack is a huge step in the right direction for you kind of being able to scale up and do other maps in the future. So that's brilliant. So there we go. I think we will maybe call it. It's disappointing that the rubber banding's happening. It's just unfortunate. I think Nitrado have not been the most helpful in terms of performance of their servers recently, which is very disappointing. But I can certainly confirm that it was working a treat this afternoon and yesterday when I was playing on it. So it must just be something. Maybe they're busy on a Sunday night. But this has been fab to see this, and I really see the difference in Rennebu for 19 was amazing, but you see the performance changes in 22 and the engine changes have really helped bring this another level from where it was before. So from that perspective, I'm super excited for this one. I really am. I think it will be it'll be a phenomenal map to play. I think it will be a brilliant multiplayer map. It's just got so much potential, and it's just so different to anything else we've got. And I think there's something I really like about that. It's totally different. But again, it caters for different play styles. Like we said there, you've got these small fields up here, up in the mountains. These things here feel completely different to this open, wider basin down at the bottom. So, it does cater for different play styles. And again, if you want to play animals or forestry, crikey, if you're a forestry person, you are spoilt for choice. I mean, look at the mountain roads down here. In fact, let's just.
I was just about to comment about the forestry stuff and the carpenter, because I've had quite a lot of comments when I've shown the PDA and shown where things happen about forestry. That in real life there is no real big sawmill, but this belongs to a farm, and it's their own private. People can go there and sort of rent time, but it's just a big saw connected to a tractor, and that's what powers the saw. But for gameplay, I made this big industrial one, and it makes sort of sense. But the big gripe people have is that why did you place the sawmill so far away from the carpenter? The carpenter is there in real life on the north end of the map, and the sawmill, this is the only one present in real life as well. So don't kill the messenger.
Yeah, and you know what? There's something about that as well. You know, not everything is on your doorstep, and even like I remember, you know, even where I grew up on the farm I grew up on, we were a little rural farm, and you know, the big cities where the big grain mills were 30, 40 miles away. So yeah, it's not like you drive for 30 seconds and sell your grain in real life anywhere, is it?
Exactly.
So is this a sawmill this is different to the sawmill that you put into because you updated the base game sawmills, didn't you, which are in the mod hub already?
Yes, this is actually the spot where I took the screenshots for that mod.
Okay.
And all I did was enable the default sawmills as a placeable. I find it a bit strange that wasn't a feature already in the base game, but there you go. I just saw the opportunity when someone on stream asked, wouldn't it be cool if they were placeables? And I had to look into that because I've never done production buildings, and I thought, well, I'm gonna do the grain mill anyway, so let's try.
Yeah, no, they're great. It was a good call. I think they've had quite a few downloads as well, haven't they?
Yes, it's had a decent increase in downloads, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to just head up here and look at some of these roads again. And so I have to ask you as well, Ola, the Oracle trailers and some of your other mods. So do you have an urge to do more vehicles and things as well in the future? Because I have to say those trailers are fantastic as well. Really great attention to detail on.
Thank you. Well, I'm sort of merely the messenger there as well, because Oracle has been really kind to send me the CAD files. So I have these files are precise down to the millimeter.
Oh, wow.
And they have given me feedback when I have asked, how do the lights work, or what's the layout of them? Where do the cables and hoses go? Because the CAD data did not include that. So they sent me a lot of pictures and described what kind of hose is where. So the connection points should be real as well. And the way it works, like the Oracle trailer, is kind of unique in that it has sort of these barn doors that folds out. It's so weird. People seem to have an opinion about everything, including those doors. Like, why do they swing out? That's not real. Well,
yes, it is.
Don't blame me. That's just how it is. So people are actually using this trailer for bales, for instance. They open the doors, put in a couple of bales, and off you go.
Yeah, that flexibility is brilliant. In fact, we Argsy and I use it on No Man's Land, and we were the very same. You could actually open the sides and drop a couple of pallets in. So if you drop a load of grain off at the sell point and you're right next to the shop, it becomes a very multi-purpose trailer. I think it's great.
Exactly, and that was my my main goal when this mod was made. It was not made completely by me. You may be familiar with NMC, North Modding Company.
Yep.
T-Bone over there. Yep. A fellow Norwegian, he helped me with the in-gaming part, like making everything work the way I wanted it to do. So he was working real hard on that. So it's not just me. I just made the art, converted it from CAD to a game-friendly model. He did all the functional magic.
Brilliant.
So thanks to him.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, when you can work together with somebody who's maybe got the expertise in Giants editor and things like that, and you can focus on the modeling side of things. I always like to see modders working together.
I'd like to do more collaborations like that. Well, I have 100+ buildings to make, so if there's any keen modelers with some experience,
there you go.
Please contact me.
Send your CVs to Ola.
Yeah. But I'm also doing balers for Oracle. So they have sent me a couple of CAD files for that as well.
Wow.
So sort of nostalgic designs, and one which is more recent, which is still in sale and production today.
That's brilliant. There's something there, isn't there? In and I know the guys at Custom Modding had the same with Demco when they did their big Auger wagon in 19, and that support from real manufacturers of farming equipment is great for the game as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I really appreciate that they are they give their complete trust in us. I had to sign a couple of NDAs, like don't share the CAD files with anyone. This is the production file, so please don't. But you mean I'm really happy they trust in me, and there's a mutual interest in both their equipment, because I grew up with having these kind of things on the farm, and they have an interest in this the map, and that their equipment is used in FarmSim. So I was lucky and fortunate to contact them at the exact right time, because they had engineers and what do you call it? Well, mechanics at their company HQ questioning, how come our stuff isn't in game? How do we do that? So lucky me,
Brilliant. Perfect timing then. And isn't that great that they're playing the game as well? That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good testament that they are actually not complaining about the trailer.
Yeah, no, for sure. Brilliant. Custom textures as well. You've put a lot of custom textures into this map as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I did more of that in 19, and when 22 was announced, I sort of, okay, let's see how the textures in 22 looks like before I spend too much time on this. So all of the ground textures are default 22. I have mixed and matched a little bit from the different maps to sort of get my own perfect blend. The same goes with the foliage. I've made a few cross connections. So some foliage is from the French map, some is from the US map, and some is from one or the other and fine-tuned with the color palette.
Okay. You notice it. So stuff like this, I feel like I've not seen this, but if it's just an amalgamation of the other maps, that's great. Fantastic.
The forest areas have been refined a lot after I saw some screenshots of Holmåkra. The Swedish duo is really good at what I do. And I kindly asked them, how did you make your forest look so good? And we had a little chat and exchanged some experiences, and this is the result.
Well, it worked. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Anything else that I've maybe missed, Ola, that you want to talk about, or you want to say before we finish up?
Well, I'm really happy so many have tuned in and want to see this and want to play the map. That is, it's really humbling to see the messages on Discord, on forums, comments on YouTube. I even made a TikTok because a few young people in the audience asked, why aren't you on TikTok? So I even went there, and the comments are really good, and I'm happy that so many are enthusiastic about the project, and I can't wait, both for me, my kids, and my family. I can't wait to get this map done and into your hands, and move on to the next.
And as I said at the very beginning, I think, thank you so much for letting me showcase this in 19 and again in 22. I was blown away in 19, but I think the benefits of 22 have really shone through in this map as well. This is going to be incredible when it comes out, and I think you deserve all the credit you get, sir, because you've put your heart and soul into this, and it shows. It's there's a definite little bit of Ola Holdor right throughout this map, and I think, yes, I can't wait for other people to see it and play it, because it's pretty special. So thank you very much for the time tonight, and thank you for joining me. And here's to Rennebu, and hopefully the masses getting to play it very, very soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. That was a treat, I think. This is really something else. So, on that note, I will say thank you very much for joining. Appreciate so many, as Ola said, so many of you joining tonight to see this. So it just shows, I think, how much interest there is in the map. And I appreciate all your time. Thank you for all the fantastic birthday messages as well. That's very, very kind of you, and all the super chats and all the kind words. And I will look forward to catching up with you all again very, very soon. But for now, from me, thank you very much. Ola, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Thanks to Jan and Christoph as well for rubber banding their way around the map with these frustrating server challenges. But it's been a pleasure to show this to you. So for now, take care. Have a good week ahead, and I'm sure I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye for now.